and right into the stretch. Looking back and throws up the middle. Rose is on his way around. Picked up by Otis.
Here comes the ready or not. Here comes the boys from the south. Here comes the ready or not. How you like me now? I say, here comes the ready or not. Here comes the boys from the south. Here comes the ready or not. How you like me now?
You don't live in Cleveland. You live in Cincinnati.
You are watching live to the best damn Cincinnati sports podcast this side of the striped out Paycor Stadium. My name is Santori Miles. We got Bengal Dad. That's it. How we doing?
Wonderful. Ready to go. Stripe the jungle. Let's go.
We're gonna try and follow an actual format moving forward.
Let's do that.
Before we get into too much of a roll, we gotta thank the people that help pay for the show. First and foremost, Script Coffee. We had something to read, and then the guy that read it left the show, and he took it with him. I've got a bag in the pantry. I ought to just grab the bag, but it's like start your morning with a story that you write.
The story of the good stuff and the coffee and the smell and the brew and Script Coffee.
Script Coffee. Here's the deal, folks. Owned and operated by Stephen Huff and his partners. Fantastic coffee, really is. They do a lot of work around the city. They do a lot of work with ministries around the city. Fantastic organization. Great coffee. They got a brick and mortar up here in Lebanon with pickleball courts and a drive-through and a batting cage.
Oh,
What more could you want from your local coffee shop?
it's all right there.
It's all right there. The
Is there
next
a bowling alley in there?
Not yet, but I bet if he had the space, I bet he'd do it. He's pretty sports centric. Sponsor number 2. Imagine if you will. Yeah, clock, the door, and the elevator drops. You're sitting at a Bengals preseason game. It's 400 degrees outside. The starter's already done. You don't even know what the score is. You gave your sister seats to sit in 307 and somehow ended up in the club. Don't know how that happened. And you're thirsty. You're aggravated. Jackson Carman's got back-to-back holding penalties. He's the only one to give up a quarterback hit all night. And you need to wash your worries away. Where do you turn? Brimingborn Meadery. Use our code HOODAY9. It's down there at the bottom floating around. Get 15% off 2 bottles or more. Basically helps cover the cost of shipping. Most bottles shipped to the entire country. There are still a couple that don't go to Montana. I found one yesterday, and it still makes me laugh to this day. HOODAY9. And last but not least, Dad, I'll let you hit this one because this is your favorite.
It is.
Midwest Best Barbecue.
Best. It's some good stuff. Again, I'm going to say I'm not a fan of the Dillinator wings. I'll stop there. But the Grippo wings are really good. The pulled pork, sensational. Again, I haven't tried their ice cream, but somebody next to me said it's really, really good.
I crushed it.
I crushed their ice water. How's that?
You are a fan of ice water.
I am a fan of ice water. Good stuff.
Located down off the Ward's Corner exit.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Justice Avenue.
Could be.
It's
Maybe,
one of those
maybe
side
not.
streets.
I don't know.
Right.
Just look for the big sign. It says Midwest Best Barbecue.
Best Barbecue. Fantastic people, fantastic food, and a cardboard cutout we hope to steal.
I got to get that T. Higgins from my barn.
We got some people in the comments.
Yeah, we do.
Kevin, love Kevin. Bengals
He's been hanging on for
orange
25
out.
minutes.
Have the Bengals, are they going to do an orange out for Monday Night Football? I don't know, but we'll get to that. Hooday from Stranger, as always. Tyler Bowles in the house, as always. Says Bengal Dad. Nice to meet you again. Santori, did he tell you what I thought about bringing what? I
forgot. What's he going to get you? I forgot. I totally forgot, Tyler.
What?
He was going to bring you something for the game, and then you didn't show up. So he says he's going to maybe bring it to one of the other games.
Oh, I was trying to read that about had a stroke. I'm sorry.
I forgot what it was, though, Tyler. I failed you miserably.
I have
Remember you
dyslexia,
telling me.
and it hurt. Pepperoni rolls.
Oh, there you go. From West Virginia.
Yes, the delicacy of West Virginia. Have you had a pepperoni roll? Have I made you have one of those yet?
No.
Okay, so imagine like a nice dinner roll with a bunch of curled up pepperonis in there.
That would be a pepperoni roll.
Yep. Sometimes it's got cheese, sometimes it doesn't. No sauce. You can dip it if you want. Most people just eat it as like the dinner roll with pepperonis in it. But
Moving forward.
we got football to talk about.
Football.
First and foremost, Project Game Day update.
Update us.
I'm not sure if we had this conversation last week or not, so we're going to have it again. We have secured not a sponsor, but a donor. They did want us to kind of make sure that there's a deviation there.
Does it start with a B?
It starts with a buskin. We're getting 96. Uh-oh. 96 Tiger Stripe cookies for each of the first 2 home games.
It's awesome.
Boston Bakery.
That's awesome.
Maybe more to come, but we'll see. So, well, let's count down our we'll call them partners, donors, all of the above. Bell's House of Tobacco, located off Fields Erdel.
Puffity puff puff.
Yep, they're gonna help supply us with some cigars.
Okay.
Condado's Tacos,
Okay.
Donato's Pizza.
This almost sound the same.
Yeah, Condado Donato,
Mm-hmm.
and they're both based out of Columbus. I think
Yeah,
they're just still.
there's a little Mexicano Italiano going
Yeah, I
on.
don't know. There's a lot of vowels. Buskin Bakery, Midwest Best Barbecue, and I'm probably forgetting one. We're getting a lot of people wanting to jump in and help us out here. So if I'm forgetting one, I apologize. But I know for sure those groups of people are lining up to help us out. It's been fantastic.
They're lining out the door.
Yep. So I can say without a shadow of a doubt, game 1 will be Condado's Tacos, Bell's House of Tobacco, Buskin Bakery. Can't remember if Donato's is doing that one or not. I've got a list. It's it's a lot to keep straight, quite frankly.
And you might be doing something with a hot dog.
You know what? I need $217 to pull it off for the hot dog roller. I've talked about it before. It's going to happen. I don't know if it's week 1 or like week 5. Just depends how everything at work goes. If it keeps up the way it's been pacing the last 12 days at work, we will have a generator and a hot dog machine for week 1.
Doesn't Greg owe us $217
I
for
don't know.
his buyout clause?
Maybe. I did have somebody cut me a small check as a favor the other day, though, so I might be able to, swindle that in there. But, yeah, for those of you that don't necessarily like tacos or pizza or whatever, I don't know who any of those people would be.
At least one of the two.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I can understand if you don't like one of them. If you don't like both of them, there's a problem. But we will have a Speedway 7-Eleven-esque hot dog roller.
There you
that
go.
You can go pluck a dog off of and be good to go. But how about some Bengal talk? We've had our first preseason game.
Yes, we have.
Screaming into the season. We're sprinting to the finish line of the offseason here.
26 days to go.
26 days to go. I don't know what I was doing 26 days ago. What were you doing 26 days ago?
Well, that would have been the it says 12, and then I think
Like
about
the
16.
17th of July?
14. Yeah, 17th of July.
All right. Probably when I got written up at work. So,
Probably.
all right.
I'm not sure what I was doing on the 17th of July. I had to look at a red schedule, and that kind of helps me remember where I was all that time ago. It was after the All-Star break.
That would have been after the decline of Reese Hines, who fell off the earth faster than he got there.
Yeah, that was an amazing meteoric rise and fall, wasn't it?
He was the greatest player in baseball and then in the minor leagues like the next day.
He fell faster than an elevator shaft, a runaway elevator shaft. He was gone.
So
He had a 3 or 4 bad games. They said, we're done with you, but we'll keep on hanging on with hanger-oners.
yeah,
Holy cow.
we'll touch on the boys of summer here in a second, since their curtain's about to close.
Yeah,
on
and we'll talk about a hanger-oner here in a moment, too.
yeah. Speaking of hanger-oners,
There, right there.
is there anybody, based on what you have seen on this preseason game, and I know who you're going to say, and there is already more than enough data to support this, not just for this preseason game, but for the last 2.5 years in general. But you got one player that has to go home today before the big cut day that I always call Black Friday. Who's your one player?
Well, it's the one you're talking about.
They don't know. I know.
The flying Fairfieldian, Mr. Jackson Carmen.
Yeah, he's
awful.
It's pretty bad.
He has no level of competence. There's nothing. There's no reason to keep that guy.
Well, he had
He
back-to-back.
can't even
holding
get in the way
penalties.
right.
No, that's your job as an offensive lineman at the root of it, is to get in the way.
Just get in the way, and he can't get in the way. He's
can't
always
get-
running after people.
He is bad at being bad. With that being said, assuming Mims is healthy, which I know he's probably going to miss the rest of preseason, but I don't think it's anything serious.
Well, he's either out for 2 weeks or 2 decades. Just
Right.
depends on who you ask.
There's no in between. It's probably closer to a 3 to 4 week thing if I'm having to put a number on it myself, which is fine because we're in August. People need to remember we're in August. If you're going to have a mild to moderate injury, now's the time.
Yeah, these things hurt a little more at the end of December.
Right. The great thing about that position group, excluding Jackson Carmen, is I still have 3 tackles that can start at what looked to be a very, very competent level. Between Orlando Brown, who last year was a down year for him, and first year in a new system, was the epitome of average. The worst year in his career was average for the league. We've always said we just need average. I'll take it. Trenton Brown has always played above average. I don't necessarily like his attitude or the way he carries himself, mentally or physically for that matter. But when the lights come on, he balls out. And quite frankly, that's all that matters. My opinion of how he handles interview questions in the grand scheme of things means nothing. And then you've got Mims, who, by anybody who's watched him over the course of training camp and preseason, has been impressed. So I'm not worried about that group.
I have another immediate cut.
Okay, go
I've
ahead.
watched this guy play for 2 or 3 years. He's never impressed me.
Give me the position.
Wide receiver. Cut him instantly. He's a player, if he plays here 3 more years, we'll always be waiting for him to do something impressive.
I don't even need to guess. I know it's Kwame Lassiter.
Absolutely. That guy's a waste of a roster space.
I mean,
He
here's
doesn't
the
do
deal.
anything right. Nothing.
No, he really doesn't.
There's not a single thing he does right.
He gets several chances to do things right too.
Mm-hmm.
When you watch the effort in the play, 'cause it's one thing if you make a play, it's another thing if you don't make a play. The thing that should always be consistent is your effort, right? Because that's the thing you can control.
The first pass Jake Browning threw him was maybe a 35-yarder right down the seam.
It was a little high.
It was a little high. He reached up with one hand and didn't even jump for the ball, and it hit off his hand.
Now I'll
A
say
guy
this.
that's trying to make an NFL team might want to leave his feet and put both arms out and try to make a play.
He was getting armbarred just a little bit. I'm not trying to make excuses for him because I did go back and watch that play a few times. But you can't tell me that if that's Yoshi or Pryor or Trent Irwin, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, that they are not contorted in the air trying to come down with that ball.
Right.
Every single one of those guys I just named, not including the tight end group, which looks really strong too. I could probably name 10 to 15 players on this team that if that ball is in the air in the same spot, are they going to catch it? Who knows? Is the effort going to be there? Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
he's on my cut list.
The other play that drove me insane was the 9 route from Browning that got picked off shortly after that down the left side. It's a 50-50 ball in that case, and he just kind of outran it and looked backward.
Yeah.
Again, there was no fight for the ball. Your quarterback, I mean, that's two perfect examples of, I don't care if we're in the NFL, the ball's not always going to be perfect. Go get it. There's no go get it with him. He runs the routes well. He gets open. He doesn't do anything else. If Auden Tate had his ability to run routes and get open, he'd be a 1,500-yard receiver.
Auden Tate would have caught that ball.
Auden Tate would have caught that ball with his eyes closed.
Yeah.
On the inverse, is there anybody in you mentioned a player earlier when we were off air, and I'm going to let you go that route just because that is a day 3 pick. Those aren't always guaranteed. Is there anybody that you believe immediately should have a roster spot, if not higher than just a roster spot, a contributor?
Well, you said because they drafted him, he really shouldn't make the list, but I think Josh Newton.
Big
I like him.
Newton.
Yeah.
I hated him in
I
the
know you
draft. In the draft guide, I listed him as a AAA. For those of you that don't know, that is basically an aging athlete.
I think one of the first plays that he got in, he actually got hurt near the goal line, and he was totally out of that play. I thought, "Whoa, that doesn't look good." But after that, he was playing really well, really well.
Well, and I'm not going to try and judge somebody completely off of their first NFL action in preseason, their first week, but he looked well. He looked a lot. Here's the thing. He looked – when I watch college tape on corners, I try to anticipate whatever I'm looking at, that there's going to be a little bit of regression their first couple years before they catch back up to where they were.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is, let's say you have a 1,500-yard receiver. I don't expect him, his rookie year, to have 1,500 yards. 2-3 years down the road, sure. But right now, if he's a 15, maybe let's call it 1,000, the first year. Newton was like kind of close on a lot of passes. I said he had Drake Kirkpatrick syndrome, where it's like, dude, if you just get your head turned around, or if you were half a step closer, like, you'd be all world. So I anticipate regression, and in my mind, that is, this guy's going to get cooked by really good NFL receivers. And he hasn't really had the chance to go up against a Justin Jefferson or, Devontae Adams, Jamar Chase type yet outside of practice with T. Higgins. But the tape that we're seeing now is almost better than what it was at TCU. So you take that into consideration. He is 23 or 24. He's older. I wonder how much more development is there. I wonder how much better he can get. If this is kind of where he's at and he's your number 4 corner, and what I mean by number 4 is your first corner off the bench on the outside. So if, Cam needs a break, or if DJ Turner needs a break, because I don't think he's going to be in the slot. He could. He's been playing a little bit everywhere. I think you're in good shape there. The other guy that I want to throw out there that was going to have a roster spot anyway, but has played so much better, is Dax Hill.
Mm-hmm.
And every year there's 2 or 3 players that seemingly the media hitches their wagon to. This guy's having a great camp. He's so good. He's developing well. And we heard the same thing with Jackson Carman last year. So when I consistently hear it over and over and over again, I kind of roll my eyes and go, okay, well, let's see what happens in preseason. Well, we know Jackson Carman was a dud. He's still a dud. We heard how much better Dax has looked at corner this year. Sorry for y'all. Maybe it's because they finally gave him a position and ran with it. His rookie year, they had him playing everywhere. His second year, last year, there was a mix of, is he going to be slot or is he going to be safety? Or are we going to put him in the box? Or we're going to try the shit with Trey Flowers where we put him on tight ends, and that didn't work. They basically just isolated him at outside corner and said, go. And you're seeing what young, athletic talent can do when given one spot to learn. This is year 3 for him. He shouldn't be making any kind of a jump in a new position. This was supposed to be a save-a-career move for him. And now he looks competent.
Mm-hmm.
He was targeted 4 times, gave up 1 pass, and it's because he didn't get his head turned around, but the guy was blanketed on a corner route downfield. Graded great. We know he can stop the run. We've seen him ball out in preseason before. So, I mean, maybe that corner room is a little bit more secure and intact than we thought.
Could be.
In the veteran they brought in about 3 weeks ago, Nate Brooks, he didn't play bad when he got in. So you've got 5 or 6 corners in there that look like they know what they're doing. That's half the battle. Speaking of battles, Battle of Ohio, Thursday Night Football. What got announced? Stripe the Jungle.
Stripe it.
Do you know what color are you wearing? What section? Or did you go that?
I didn't look at my
yet?
section. Where's the chart? Find the chart.
I'll bring the chart up.
Bring the chart up. While you bring the chart up, I got to bring that up. Is that not the coolest looking uniform you've ever seen for the Bengals?
That's a good one.
That is par excellence.
Well,
That's perfect.
It's the thing that like I've been asking for like, I don't know, 10 years. And then ever since they redid the uniforms, it kind of got ramped up again of we want these, these orange pants. And I know that's still just a rendering. Those aren't the actual pants.
Yeah, but it's going to look really close to that.
It's going to look damn close to that.
When you're 275 feet away from it, it's going to look like that.
Yeah. Yeah, when I'm in section 307. It's going to look really close to that.
So no, I didn't see which sections are if we're going to be orange or we're black. I didn't see that.
Well, I know where I'm at, and I know I am in a black section. First off, though, the other thing that I want to do is give a shout out to the Bengals marketing team, because if you remember when the jersey was leaked a couple years ago, it was just this ugly, raggedy, like not even centered on the hanger picture, just in like somebody's office. And I remember seeing it because, it looked bad all bundled up. And I was like, Dad, if that's the jersey, this is bad. And we were hoping it wasn't. Now, granted, different light, put on a player, looked a lot better. Did you see when the Bengals posted the pants, how they did it?
Yes.
For those of you that didn't, it made me laugh. They threw them back up on the hanger again. That is a self-aware, super self-aware marketing team, and I appreciate that. Well, let me find the Stripe the Jungle chart here, so to say. Let me see if I can blow this up a little bit, make it a little bigger. This is posted by Lates McAllister, so always give credit where credit's due, and I steal something for the time being. Uh-oh.
I can't see that.
That's not what I thought it was.
That
What
looks
happened,
like a
Lance?
twister right there.
Lance, what happened? All right, well, we're just going to do this the old-fashioned way. Stripe hype, that was a thing of the past. Oh, my God. Remember those days?
Oh, yeah.
Stripe the Jungle. All right, here's that thing from Lance again. There we go.
Well, I had it until you went small.
Well, is that better?
Yeah, I'm trying to find my section, though. Bear with me. I'm orange.
You're orange?
Yep.
Okay, I'm black. Where are you, like one of these fancy people right here?
No, keep going up a little bit.
Up here?
Bingo. Yeah.
All right. So remember, do your job, as Marvin Lewis would say. Wear the color you're supposed to wear. I have a sleeveless black denim hoodie that I will be wearing on top of whatever I actually wear. I will probably buy black hammer pants for the event. And I'm working on an idea for I've got a picture. I sent it to Pork Chop. I have no idea if I can get it up here on Twitter or not. I might just share it on my camera here. It's like a black basketball jersey, but it says Cincy and Shiesty on it. I think that I designed that today. I am now a connoisseur of basketball jerseys.
There you go.
And I think that would look good under my sleeveless black denim with my hammer pants in December.
You're going to look like Charles Barkley.
I'm going to freeze. Yeah, I'll shave my head and everything.
All right, what else we got?
Well, we got to move on to the numbnuts down there. That would be Reds, I guess.
You know about David Bell's bunch?
Yeah.
Well, you got 11 minutes before the game starts. And for those of you who would like to place a friendly wager on one of your betting apps, I would certainly consider taking the Cardinals regardless of the money line.
So I put this out there, and I know Darth saw it because I try not to blame David Bell because it just looks like a cop-out when you blame the manager. People get mad when you blame them for whatever reason. The guy in charge isn't allowed to be blamed. I've never understood that. Going back to about 2017, because that's when the trend started, whenever this team, with the exception of one or two times, whenever this team gets within 3 games of 500, it can be 47-50, it can be 3-6, it can be 17-20. It doesn't matter. Whenever they hit 3 games of 500, and I don't know the exact math, but I guarantee you, if you had Joel Luckup be his statistician that he is, he could find it. They fold like an accordion. They cannot handle getting close to 500.
A little bit. Hold on one second.
Uh-oh.
It's in my bedroom. Yeah, it's all in my office. Yes, you are very right about that.
That switch controlling lights, or you don't know what? Not to cut that wire.
Yeah, it controls, I know the ceiling fan, probably the lights also, though. But I know it controls the ceiling fan for sure.
And I'm more testing that too. I
I don't know.
It stinks. I gotta figure this and blow myself up in there.
Okay, I'm back. I think only one time this year have been through the 3-game under. But I think they probably, if they've had 8 or 9 chances this year, they've lost every time but one. And typically, the way they lose is we score very few runs, and we either lose in a super tight game or we get completely blown out. Tonight, when they lose, it'll be a close game because Hunter Green's pitching. So I would fashion a 3-1 Cardinal victory tonight.
Or 1-0. We've seen
That won't be 1-0. They're in Great American.
We've seen it.
It won't happen. 3-1. 3-1. We'll score a late run.
How about we make this a new segment? Because
What new segment you want?
we're always going to rotate whatever days we do this just because work schedules are what they are. But we're always going to be on at least once a week, and the football season will be on twice a week. We should have some segment once a week during baseball season, once a week during football season. We'll always make it leading up to the games.
Okay.
Of your lock bet of the week. And this one is that the Reds will lose tonight.
Oh, absolutely.
Lock it in.
Some wire nuts or something.
And if they win, you shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, it's a lock it in.
Lock it in.
It wouldn't matter who they're playing, who's pitching against them. nothing matters.
And I don't want
They,
people to get
they could
this
be playing the
misconstrued.
Chicago White Sox.
I don't want people to get this misconstrued either. I love the Reds. You
Mhm.
love the Reds more than I do. I want them to beat the fucking brains out of the Cardinals tonight. Not
I
gonna
want them to
happen.
go on a 10 or 12 game winning streak and jump into first place in the wild card because that's all it's going to take.
Yeah.
I don't care if they're 4.5 games out of the wild card. Every team they're chasing is absolutely average. So in a course of 10 games, if they win 7 out of 10, they're going to probably pick up at least 2 games on most of them. That's how that's going to work. They'll be 2.5 games out. And in the next 10 games, they do the same thing. If they win 14 of their next 20, there's a really good chance they're going to be within a game of the wild card with about 25 to go.
Mhm.
But they're not good enough because they don't have a good enough manager.
No, because to go on those kind of runs, you need to be able to manufacture runs. And
Yep, and that's why they lose all these one-run games because they don't know how to manufacture a run. He doesn't know how to hit and run. He doesn't know how to hit behind runners. He doesn't know how to bunt and run. He doesn't know how to do any of that stuff. Doesn't safety squeeze, suicide squeeze.
Well, he also doesn't
Nothing.
set up his lineup for it. He's more worried about lefty-righty matchups than he is being able to manufacture a run when you.
And the other thing that's kind of hidden, and they're starting to talk about it lately, the other reason that they are losing one-run games is they are dead last in the National League in turning double plays. Between India and Ellie worrying a little bit more about flash than just getting the job done, they're missing turning double plays, and a run is being scored here or there because of it. And that shows up glaringly in one-run games.
Well, it's the same thing in football, and you'll hear me talk about this as the NFL season starts to progress. I don't look at the score, and you know that sounds weird when you say that, and I've had endless conversations with you about this. I look at possessions, and it kind of goes back to that when you don't get off the field on 3rd and 1. You know that's you're stealing the possession. You're extending a possession when it shouldn't have been. Double plays are like getting a pick in the NFL. You shut it down. They're hard to recover from. Now, Major League Baseball. My wife's home. The door's locked and the dogs are barking. This is a terrible combination. Give me 1 minute.
Well, I guess I'll keep you entertained. I won't complain for anybody, but I'll do something to try to drown out the sound of the dogs. Golly, what in the world is that? So we have anything good down the old comment section here? Bad attitude, beautiful. That's big Money Marshall, big attitude and beautiful. Darth, I got to get off work and find tickets still. Okay. Well, getting off work will probably be the easy part. Tickets might be a little pricey.
We're back.
There he is.
Oh my God. Hold on. I'm fat. It's a big couch. Gymnastics. Stealing possessions. No, when you're able to turn double plays, it's kind of like getting a turnover in football. You limit opportunity. You take essentially the ball away. Baseball's a little bit different because there's no clock. But at the same time, when you don't convert those, it's kind of like letting somebody convert on a 3rd and 1 at midfield. Yeah, they haven't scored yet. They've still got a lot of work to go, but you could have had the ball back.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing. You win games in the NFL by stealing possessions, by making possessions efficient.
I'm going to bring up David Bell again. I haven't seen the lineup today, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was probably a scheduled day off for Spencer Steer. I mean, he only hit 2 home runs and drove in 5 yesterday. It's probably a scheduled day off for him. If that's not the most asinine thing I've ever heard of in my life.
Dusty used to do that shit.
I know it.
I couldn't. They're like, oh, it's a scheduled day off. I don't care. He's hot. He's hot.
Let's work around getting a guy a day off somewhere within a certain week or so and just see how it goes.
If I'm on like a 5-game winning streak and he's a guy that's hitting like 240 during that win streak, here's your day off. Like, there's times to do it. There's times to not. I don't understand. Maybe that's why he's the manager and I'm not. I'm just some kid literally sitting on his couch in a Ken Griffey Jr. t-shirt.
Well, I don't know why you're not. I mean, I know why you're not. It's because it's you, but he's only the manager because of his last name. We know that. His ties to the city and his last name. Gus Bell played here like 50 years ago. Buddy Bell played a handful of years, and David Bell never played here.
David Bell played in St. Louis of all places.
Right.
If the Cardinals don't want him, why would I?
So, I mean, why are we so hung up on this guy?
I don't know. He's got a losing record. It's been like 1,000 games.
He's the Marvin Lewis of the Reds.
I know he is. And
that means we got 10 more years.
We've been saying it for a couple of years now, and there's some pundits out there that are on radio shows that think that they're God's begotten gift that will defend them to the death, that are kind of starting to turn. And I can't wait till the day comes that they do turn, because I've got a tweet bookmarked and I'm going to take my victory lap around this specific sports broadcaster where I said, quote, "There will come a time where he turns and it will just be too late. And it'll just be that they're so bad that he couldn't see the writing on the wall." That's what it takes. For some people, we can see when things are slipping and it's not going the right direction. And when things start to slip, you can either adjust and get back to winning, or you can just watch it fall apart. Some people, for whatever reason, they need it to entirely fall apart before they make an adjustment.
Yep.
I don't understand that. If you can see things aren't going the right way, fix it.
Well, you watch the next time the Reds have a 3 or 4 run lead, how long David Bell sticks with the pitcher before he pulls them. It'll become a 1-run game or a tie game before he pulls them.
Dusty did the same thing. You win games. I'm not here to eat innings just for the sake of eating innings. This fucking fly. My God. Yeah, I try to be nice to the dogs and leave the back door open, and I get punished with flies.
What do we got left? Reds are getting ready to start. I do want to watch them.
That is about it. I do always want to end the shows with thanking our sponsors again: Brimminghorn Meadery, Midwest Best Barbecue, Script Coffee, and we hope to see everybody down at Lot 1 this year. Project Game Days tailgate. We got canopies. We got food. Oh, the other one, Garage Beer. That was the big one. Started in northern Kentucky through Braxton Brewery.
Yeah.
Ended up being bought out by the Kelseys. So whenever you see Travis and Jason running around, they've got Garage Beer on them now.
Yeah.
That's all right.
And it was really, really weird because I do help manage some of the funds for Project Game Day. When I woke up and I knew we were close with something with Garage Beer, I didn't know how close we were. And then I saw the Venmo go ding, and I saw the amount of money that got dumped in there. And I went, ha! They said, "Here's your beer money." And I went, all right, that'll do.
I saw some Garage Beer. I saw Garage Beer down at the tailgate party before the preseason game.
It's
regular and I think some kind of lime.
It is for those of you who are beer aficionados, it is a Pilsner. For those of you who are not beer aficionados, that means it is a regular beer. It is not an IPA. It does not have cherry cheesecake or lemonade or any of that bullshit that some of those other weird breweries have. This is a straightforward, regular light lager. And then like how Bud Light has their lime and Corona has their lime and seemingly everyone has a lime version. They do too. There will be both at the tailgates. I am not a beer person at all. There are maybe a handful that I will every once in a while buy. It's very close to a normal like Coors Light or Bud Light or Miller Light or whatever. It's a pretty standard normal beer, but it's local and it is owned by guys that went to UC, so that's nice.
There you go. All right, I think that probably ends this call.
Yep, we got I got a friend coming over here in a bit. Kevin, he asked this like 3 times. I want to make sure that we touch on this. Orange out for Monday Night Football. I have not heard anything concrete one way or the other. I have heard rumors, and rumors are, just wisps in the wind. There are some people pushing for it. It's not out of the question. I don't know if they actually plan on doing it or not. It may be one of those things that ends up being fan organized. I know Bengals captain's pushing the hell out of it. But maybe. That's kind of all I can attribute to that right now. I know that's not the answer you're looking for, but it's definitely not a no at this point.
All right. Well, I'm going to end this with one question, and then we'll see if we get the answer sometime in the next few weeks.
What's that?
Will Jamar Chase be playing on opening day against the Patriots?
Oh, yeah. Jamar Chase is going to have a contract in about 7 days.
Okay.
Just throwing that out there.
All right. We'll see.
All right. Well, help me with a hot dog roller. Let's get these tailgates underway.
217. All right. See ya.
And right into the stretch. Looking back and throws up the middle.